Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is the next instalment of my video equipment series, and this time we're going to be talking about camcorders. As before with my action camera video, which if you haven't seen I'll put a little link above my head for the first video in this series. But essentially I filmed the content for this video a couple of months ago, but it was very long, so I've decided to split it up into chunks and release it separately. So this time camcorders, and I hope you enjoy. A quick caveat before I get into it: I'm not a professional photographer, videographer or anything like that. Classic cars is my hobby. The video part of it I'm interested in, but it's certainly not something which I plough vast amounts of money in, so I don't get the latest and greatest of everything. So I'm not saying that the stuff I use is the best stuff to use, it's just the stuff I've sort of bought over the years, and it's what works for me. So I'll share my experiences with you, and then you can make an informed decision whether that is the right thing for you, or it might give you an idea of the kind of thing that you might like to look for. So the next camera I wanted to talk about is the one that's filming this. So this is the camcorder type of camera. So I've already mentioned with the action camera just a minute ago that the action cameras film in a very wide angle typically, and that's really good at getting lots of stuff which is close to the camera in the shot. But what this leads to is a little bit of distortion in the picture because of the sort of wide angle nature of the lens there. And if you try to, because some of the action cameras come with more of a narrow field of view, what you're really doing is just cropping the image to more the center of the lens, and it's not really good for image quality. And so I bought a more traditional camcorder to bring a little bit more of that normal camera view of the world, maybe slightly more of a cinematic quality to the footage that I've been producing, just to improve a bit of the production value of my videos. So the advantages of using a camcorder is that the optical zoom on a camcorder is normally really good. So the camcorder I've got, which is a Panasonic VXF1, has a 24 times zoom, which is purely optical, and that goes up to 32 without image quality loss apparently, but I've not really used that. I just used the pure optical zoom for that, and it's got tons of other features as well, so sort of macro function for getting close to a subject, and because it's a more I suppose bigger size lens and stuff, you can get more cinematic type effects, so that shallow depth of field if you're close to something or zoomed into something, so kind of a blurred background and the thing that you're shooting in focus is quite nice, as well as having other features which are typical of a camcorder, like I don't know, like zoom effects and other more professional features in there. So I've only had the camera a short while, I've not really explored too much of what it can do, but it comes with a cold shoe mount similar to my action camera, so you don't need to buy an additional accessory there, and means I can mount my external microphone really easily. It's got a mic input. It's also got a headphone jack as well, so you can actually listen to the audio being recorded by the camera just to check levels are right and everything as well. So it's really good. It also allows you to attach more standard size things like lens hoods and filters. So they're the accessories that I bought for it effectively. So lens hoods prevent light coming in from sort of the side of the shot and making it weird lens sort of artifacts on the lens and ruining kind of your shot there, as well as filters, so polarizing filters, ND filters, UV filters, that kind of thing. I've not really used those at all yet. I've not really got into it. It's more sort of advanced stuff, and like I said, I'm not a professional movie maker or videographer or anything like that, but it's something that interests me and I'd like to make my footage look as good as possible. It's just trading the time invested in that versus actually just getting on with it and making the videos for people. So yeah, that's kind of one thing you can do, that you can spend a bit more time making your footage look really good. So why did I choose the Panasonic VXF1? Well, camcorder wise, I quite like the form factor of a camcorder. They're quite easy to hold, and it comes with image stabilization and proper image stabilization as well. It's not an electronic one, it's actual motors moving the lens around to sort of counteract shakes and things like that, so it works really well. The other thing is that a couple of other YouTubers use this model and I like their videos. I think Adam C might use a camera like this. There are other camcorders out there, so Sony makes some very similar ones. I think Harry from Harry's Garage uses a Sony rather than a Panasonic. He gets great results with his. But again, they're the more traditional camcorder size and shape and everything like that. And actually, it's quite compact. It fits. I try and fit all my gear into one bag and it fits in there really nicely. And because it has this internal zoom lens, it's not like a digital SLR, which you'll get fantastic picture quality from, but you'd have to carry, you know, different lenses with you if you wanted to get more of a wide angle shot versus a more of a telephoto shot and that kind of thing. So I guess that's where I come on to alternatives to a camcorder, because camcorders are sort of a bit of a dying breed really. So this particular model that I've bought is a 2018 model, so it's actually a couple of years old now, even though I bought it brand new not too long ago. And that's because people are moving to, like I said, digital SLRs or the mirrorless systems that you can get, and that's a perfectly viable alternative actually. So I used to use, if I can get it, I used to use this, and this is a Fuji X20. So this is actually quite a few years old now. This is like 7 years old or something like that. And this is a really cool camera. I mean, it's kind of a retro style camera, good for still shots, but has a fairly decent movie mode, and the lens is really nice, so you can get some quite nice footage. But this isn't as nice to hold as a camcorder, and it's easier to hold a camcorder and keep it pointed at what you want it to look at, rather than this is a bit more, you know, you take a picture, whereas if you hold a camcorder, it feels a bit more steady in your hand. But ultimately, if you want really good image quality, then you're going to have to go for a bigger digital SLR type system where you can change out the lenses and build a proper sort of stabilized rig for your camera gear there. And I guess one of the things that we could talk about while talking about camcorders and alternatives is actually just using your phone instead. So people use their phones for YouTube videos, and with great success as well. But what you might want to consider if you're going to use your phone, as well as more of an external microphone setup, potentially like I use for my cameras anyway, is maybe something like the DJI Osmo Mobile. So this is like a stabilizer for your phone, and it kind of keeps it level, and you've got controls here to move it around and all sorts of settings and things like that. And I used to use this quite a lot, and it was mainly for when I was walking around a car show. So it would keep the camera nice and steady as I was walking around. I might do like a hyperlapse type time lapse around where I was walking, and you can also do these really cool effects with it. So time lapse where the camera will move across a period of time while, you know, things are happening, and it's all sped up, and that's quite nice. And I do recommend these for people who can't afford to buy, say, expensive camera equipment, but do already have a decent phone. So I use my iPhone 11 Pro Max, and that does just about fit in here, although not quite as well as my previous phone. But you can buy newer versions of these which will accommodate bigger phones such as this. And these, you know, more modern phones now come with a few different lenses, like a wide angle one and a more of a telephoto lens. So you can really use your phone to its full potential by making videos with them, and just buying something relatively cheap. This is like 100 quid, I think. And you can buy alternatives to this as well, so cheaper versions. I think there's lots of different makes of stabilizer or gimbal, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, these are really great.